Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers vandalism, photographing minors, and false 911 calls, and was originally posted by SLO County Observer's channel, but was also featured on Lackluster's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On February 16, 2022, First Amendment auditor SLO County Observer, who we will refer to as Mr. SLO, was filming and live streaming from a public sidewalk outside of Peninsula Crane and Rigging in San Jose, California, when the owner of the business, Stanley Alger, approached Mr. SLO and began to question him about his actions.
You're obviously being obnoxious to me by not giving me answers.
I'm actually being pretty polite.
Well,
you're the one yelling at me.
Okay. Well, I want you to explain what your presence
No.
and why you're videotaping my yard.
No, I'm not going to tell you anything.
Okay. All right.
This guy with you?
Fucking A, he is. Oh, well.
Why are you videotaping?
This guy just grabbed my camera,
Oh, well.
broke it, and
Great.
threw it over there in the bushes.
Why are you over here videotaping kids?
You're probably a perv.
This guy right here. This is the one. Grabbed my camera off of it, ripped it off,
All right.
and threw it in the bushes. Go ahead, call the cops.
I fucking am.
Yeah, you're going to pay for that camera too.
I ain't fucking doing shit.
You're going to pay for that camera.
You ain't doing shit.
Look at what he did.
Send you to fucking jail.
You ain't sending me nowhere. You're the one that's going to end up going to jail, if anything.
Mr. Alger grabs Mr. SLO's camera and throws it into the bushes, damaging it in the process. According to Section 594 of the California Penal Code, an individual commits the crime of vandalism if they quote-unquote maliciously deface, damage, or destroy any real or personal property that is not their own. Section 7 of the California Penal Code explains that the word maliciously imports, quote, a wish to vex, annoy, or injure another person, or an intent to do a wrongful act, established either by proof or presumption of law. There has been some debate as to whether vandalism in California is a so-called general intent crime, which means that a prosecutor only has to prove that a criminal defendant intended to do the act that causes the harm, or a so-called specific intent crime, where the prosecutor must prove that a criminal defendant intended to cause the harm itself. As the Eastern District of California explained in the 2013 case of Villar versus County of Yolo, it is unclear from the text of the statute whether vandalism is truly a specific intent crime, and district courts are split on the issue. However, the 4th District Court of Appeal of California more recently held in the 2018 case of People versus Moore that, quote, although no published case has specifically addressed whether vandalism is a general or specific intent crime, a number of cases have concluded that other crimes requiring malice or maliciousness require only general criminal intent. The vandalism statute itself does not require any intent besides the intent to do the prescribed acts of defacing, damaging, or destroying property, and the term maliciously does not import any further specific intent or mental state. Thus, the vandalism statute defines a general intent crime with no specific knowledge or mental state requirement. In this situation, while it is clear that Mr. Alger intended to grab and throw the camera, it is less clear whether he specifically intended to damage the camera or simply stop Mr. SLO from recording. Since most California courts have concluded that vandalism is a general intent crime, it is likely that Mr. Alger could be convicted for vandalism because he intentionally performed the action that caused the damage to the camera. But if a court took the view that vandalism required a specific intent to cause the damage, Mr. Alger could potentially try to defend himself by arguing that he did not intend to break the camera and was just trying to remove it from Mr. SLO's reach.
San Jose Emergency, how may I help you?
Well, yes, good morning. My name is Stan. My company is Peninsula Crane and Rigging. Can you send an officer to 656 Will Creek Drive? I have a suspicious person who is videotaping my property and before they won't explain himself.
How long is the person there?
Thank you very much, ma'am.
How long has he been there? Hello?
This is Stan.
Oh, hi, Stan. This is San Jose Police. Is that gentleman still there?
Yes, he is. And
Okay.
he's refusing to move.
Okay, where is he at on the property?
Refusing to move. He is videotaping my property from the sidewalk.
So he's on the sidewalk. Okay, I understand. But he's in front of the business, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And does he have any weapons?
No, he has cameras. Description is approximately 5'8" to 10. He has a light dark black beard and so forth. He has sunglasses. He is wearing a black hoodie and jeans.
And how long has he been out there?
I don't know, but he was spotted videotaping and so forth. And when I asked him to cease and desist, he refused and won't identify who he is. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, and how do you spell your last name, sir? I can't spell it.
It's ridiculous.
Whatever.
Hello?
You can comment
Hello?
whatever you want, sir.
San Jose Emergency. Hi, I need a police officer dispatched, please, to 656 Wool Creek Drive immediately. Huh?
What's going on there?
There's a man out here who is standing on the sidewalk. He keeps taking pictures of the kids at the school across the street. He looks like he's got something in his back pocket. It almost looked like a gun. Someone needs to get out here right now.
So okay, so we've already got the call there, and I want you to slow down for a minute. What makes you guys think it's a gun in the back pocket?
I don't know. It looks funny. It's got something that looks like a handle. I'm just saying, I'm not getting close enough to the son of a...
Okay, what?
So where are the officers?
Ma'am, they're going to be on the way. What color is the handle?
It's black.
Okay.
Please, just hurry. I've got to go. Please.
What is your name, ma'am?
In his second call, Mr. Alger tells the 911 operator that Mr. Slow is taking pictures across from a school, and when his employee calls 911, she alleges that Mr. Slow is taking pictures of the children at the school, in addition to claiming Mr. Slow might have a gun. We will discuss the claims about the firearm later in this episode, and although it's unclear whether Mr. Slow was photographing the children or the school at any point, it's generally not illegal to take pictures or film anyone or anything that can be seen from a public vantage point, even if the subjects of the photography are children and their parents have not consented. And courts have repeatedly held that such photography is protected by the First Amendment. For instance, in the 2015 case of State versus Oatman, the Court of Appeals of Wisconsin overturned a statute that prohibited registered sex offenders from photographing, filming, or capturing other visual representations of children without their parents' consent as constitutionally overbroad. In reaching this conclusion, the court looked to the 2002 case of Ashcroft versus Free Speech Coalition, where the U.S. Supreme Court held that obscene material which appears to depict minors, but is produced by means other than using real children, such as through the use of youthful-looking adults or computer imaging technology, was protected by the First Amendment because it did not harm any children in the production process. Building on this reasoning, the Oatman court concluded that, quote, children are not harmed by non-obscene photographs taken in public places. While it is understandable to dislike the fact that someone might have objectionable thoughts when viewing ordinary images of children, the state is constitutionally prohibited from precluding citizens from creating such images. Therefore, even if Mr. Slow had been photographing the children at the school from the sidewalk, his First Amendment right to do so has been firmly established, even if others found it to be unsettling or inappropriate. However, it is important to note that in some circumstances, such behavior could give a police officer reasonable suspicion to conduct a Terry stop on the individual taking photographs.
Emergency, how may I help you?
Yes, you guys need to send a police officer or more than one. There's a gentleman out in our yard with a gun, I believe.
What's the address?
Back 656 Wool Creek.
Is that a house or an apartment?
It's in a business.
And the name of the business?
Peninsula Crane.
And he has a gun where?
It looks like he has a gun.
Where?
And I'm telling you what, if you guys don't come in the next 5 minutes, I'm calling all the TV stations.
Ma'am,
what?
A gun where?
What? In his bag.
Okay, one moment.
Hurry up.
Okay.
All right, so I just called the police. This guy's called twice about 20 minutes ago.
Hi, sir. Can I help you?
Yeah. That guy right there broke my camera off my stand right here and threw it in the bushes over there.
Okay. We got to call someone with a gun?
No.
You don't have a gun?
I don't have a gun.
Okay. You're free to record me. I don't care. I'm recording you.
Okay.
So we did a good report of you, male with sunglasses, mask, bag with a gun. Okay. So you can record me. You can leave that there. I just got to make sure I'm safe.
All right,
okay?
go for it, man.
So
I don't have any.
Okay. I'm just going to take your bag off. Okay.
I can.
Yeah. Take it off,
Well,
please.
it's got a body.
Okay. That's fine. Like I said, I'm just trying to be safe. Okay. That way we can deal with this appropriately. Okay. So just relax. You're going to have to put the tripod, leave it. I'm going to pat search you for weapons. There's a report. No, I'm going to pat search you.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I don't have any gun.
Okay. Well, I just got to make sure. We're obviously, they might have exaggerated, but that's what we're here to figure out. Well, that's what it sounds like. So, just separate your legs for me, please. All right. I'm just going to hold on to your bag real quick. I'm not taking it.
Can I get my body cam?
Yeah, go ahead, give him his body cam. Sounds like 51 Charles 4. You can shut down any incoming code 3. Go back to normal. This sounds like some kind of civil issue. So what happened?
I was recording from the sidewalk up there. Okay. This guy didn't like it, so we just grabbed my camera and threw it in the bush.
Did you know them or what's going on?
No, I don't know them at all. I was just checking out their cranes. They have like cranes and stuff.
Oh, you don't know them at all? You're just recording? Okay.
I'm just a random dude.
Okay. Well, they called in a guy with a gun, so you get this response.
This kind of response, yeah.
You get this kind of response.
Is there a gun scene?
I don't know, ma'am.
I reported that there was a gun scene to us.
I don't know. I know one of our guys said he had his hand in his pocket, inside his bag, when they first seen him, and they didn't know if he had a gun or not.
Okay. So find out what female inside your guys' business called us here for this kind of response.
Right
so we'll go inside and find out.
Go ahead.
This is ridiculous. Who called the police and said someone had a gun?
I called the police and said it looked like he had something that looked like
Okay,
a gun.
well, we need you to come outside and talk to us.
Okay.
Because everyone out here saying that nobody said he had a gun, and that's a very serious accusation.
I know. It looked like he had a gun in his back pocket. That's why I was terrified when I called.
Ma'am, my problem, too, with this whole situation is if you're the one calling, is why are you hanging up on our call takers?
I was coming out here to see what was going on.
Okay, ma'am, you cannot generate a response like that and hang up on our call takers. It's so far from okay. It's just ridiculous. If you were that scared, why would you keep coming back outside?
I didn't come outside. I came to the door to watch what was going on.
You stay on the phone with our call takers if you call 911.
One of the officers reprimands the employee who called 911 for her actions, but does not arrest her for any criminal offenses, despite the fact that he may have had arguable probable cause to do so. Section 148.3 of the California Penal Code makes it a misdemeanor offense for an individual to report an emergency to the government if they know that the report is false, and a felony offense to report a false emergency if they know or should know that the response to the report is likely to cause death or great bodily injury, and great bodily injury or death is sustained by any person as a result of the false report. The statute includes in the definition of an emergency as, quote, any condition that results in the response of a public official in an authorized emergency vehicle, and also states that for, quote, any individual convicted of violating this section based upon a report that resulted in an emergency response is liable to a public agency for the reasonable costs of the emergency response by that public agency. Further, falsely claiming that Mr. Slow had a gun could also be a violation of Section 148.5 of the California Penal Code, which makes it a misdemeanor offense for an individual to report to a 911 operator that a felony or misdemeanor has been committed if the caller knows the report is false. While carrying a gun is not necessarily a crime, under the Gun-Free School Zone Act of 1995, which is codified in Section 626.9 of the California Penal Code, possessing a firearm in a quote-unquote school zone, which is defined as, quote, an area in or on the grounds of a public or private school providing instruction in kindergarten or grades 1 to 12, inclusive or within a distance of 1,000 feet from the grounds of the public or private school, is a criminal offense that is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Therefore, it could be argued that claiming that Mr. Slow had a gun and was taking pictures of the school children constituted a report that Mr. Slow possessed a firearm in a school zone. It's important to note that to sustain a conviction under Section 148.3 or 148.5 based on a false 911 call, a prosecutor must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the caller knew their report was false. And individuals who are charged with these crimes can defend themselves by arguing that they were simply mistaken about the facts. In this situation, the caller was careful to always say that she believed or thought that Mr. Slow had a firearm, or that it looked like he had a gun. So if she was charged with either of these offenses, she would likely use this defense to argue that she genuinely believed he had a weapon. However, that does not mean that she would succeed in her defense, and there are certain facts that would support an argument that she was lying to provoke a police response, such as the fact that she said that the gun was in Mr. Slow's back pocket in her first call and in his bag in her second call. Ultimately, the decision would depend on how a judge or jury interpreted the facts of the case.
And where was he standing at? On the sidewalk?
He was on the sidewalk.
Okay, so he has
yes, he has a right to be on the sidewalk.
Yes,
but does he have a right to videotape?
Yes, you're in public view.
Okay. But does he have a right to not identify himself?
Yes, 100%.
He doesn't even have to identify himself to us.
He's doing a First Amendment right. He has a First Amendment right to record. There's nothing wrong with him recording. If you don't want to be recorded, you can go inside, away from the camera's view.
He found his camera. Did you see if anyone took his camera from him? I put my hand over it to get him to stop, so forth, and close. It had one of the little wings on it, and closed that. In attempt to close, he pulled back and it broke off the little mount.
And did you throw it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
After one of the officers issued Mr. Alger a criminal citation for vandalism, the officers eventually left the scene with no further incidents or arrests. Although the officer informed Mr. Alger that his court date was scheduled for April 15th, 2022, I could not locate any criminal cases against Mr. Alger in publicly available court records, so it's unclear whether he was convicted of the offense or if the case is still pending. Overall, the San Jose officers get an A for treating Mr. Slow with respect and maintaining clear communication while searching him for a weapon, strongly supporting Mr. Slow's right to film in public, and confronting and reprimanding the woman who falsely reported that Mr. Slow had a firearm. Although it is arguable that the 911 caller should have been arrested for her actions, her statements were ambiguous enough that the officers could reasonably have decided there was no probable cause to make an arrest, and I would not fault them for reaching that conclusion. In the course of this encounter, the officers ensured that everyone on the scene was safe, cited Mr. Alger for damaging Mr. Slow's camera, confirmed that both Mr. Alger and his employee understood the law and the First Amendment right to film, and allowed Mr. Slow to continue filming. I commend them for resolving a tense encounter without resorting to force or otherwise needlessly escalating the situation, and I encourage other law enforcement officers to learn from their example. Mr. Slow also gets an A for maintaining a calm and respectful demeanor throughout the encounter, communicating with the officers and complying with their orders when they arrived on the scene, and standing up for his right to film when faced with verbal attacks, multiple 911 calls, and damage to his camera. Mr. Alger and his employee, on the other hand, get an F for abusing the 911 emergency system, demonstrating a clear disregard for Mr. Slow's First Amendment rights, his property, and his physical safety, and potentially lying about a firearm to incite a larger police response. Claiming that a suspicious individual has a gun outside a school is a serious accusation, and it does not require a stretch of the imagination to conclude that the 911 caller knew the implication of her actions. This situation is similar to so-called swatting, which is a form of harassment where individuals make false reports of serious crimes in order to send a substantial police or emergency service response team to another person's address. Here, it seems that both Mr. Alger and his employee attempted to summon a faster and more powerful police response by progressively escalating the frantic nature of the 911 calls, and the severity of the allegations when officers did not arrive on the scene quickly enough for their liking. By claiming that he had a weapon, the 911 caller put Mr. Slow's life and safety in jeopardy, and if a different officer had arrived on the scene first, this interaction may have had a much more unfortunate ending. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.